especially flesh and blood form, that's when you get war and cruelty and violence and greed and racism and crime and poverty. We're told in the scriptures that behind the flesh and blood evil is something that is not flesh and blood. So that when you see child trafficking and pedophilia and murder and rape, there's something far more sinister happening underneath. And until you recognize this dimension of evil in the world, you will not be able to understand its depth and pervasiveness and intractability. Now, why is it that we in the West struggle with this idea of the devil? The Western mindset basically believes that everything has a natural cause. There is no supernatural world. And if everything has a scientific, natural explanation, then this is what we're being taught in our university. This is what your children are being taught. This is the intelligentsia of the day. If everything has a scientific or a naturalistic explanation, then when it comes to crime and violence and greed and racism and war and cruelty, all those things have a natural cause. Bad psychological factors. You weren't raised right. You weren't educated correctly. Or bad sociological factors. There are bad social systems. So there's got to be a natural cause to all this evil that we see in the world. And if we can just figure out what the cause is, we'll fix it and there'll be no more evil. But this is wearing thin in the 21st century. Andrew Delbanco wrote a book called The Death of Satan. And what's so interesting, he's a secular atheist. He doesn't even believe in God. And yet here's the first line of the book. A gulf has opened in our culture between the visibility of evil and the intellectual resources to cope with it. We have jettisoned in the West the idea of cosmic or transcendent evil. He's saying we don't believe in evil anymore. In fact, we don't even like to use the word evil because it implies moral absolutes, which implies God. So we use medical terms like dysfunction and pathology. We don't use moral terminology. Now, Delbanco concludes that as the 21st century is here now, it's gotten harder and harder to say that the Holocaust and ethnic cleansing and serial killers and human traffickers is just bad psychological or sociological adjustment. So here is the secular atheist saying that the depth of evil in our world today cannot be explained by mere psychological, economic, or environmental factors.